Right guys, hello, welcome back. Another video for you. Medal of Honor Above and Beyond. I've been looking forward to this for quite some time and I promised to get some content up as quick as I could to help people out, answer questions I know people will have. As always, I'll break the video down with timestamps, help you find what you want to see. If you just want to see gameplay, you can of course skip ahead. So we see I'm in my main office, looks very, very nice. We'll get the boring stuff out of the way first. We'll deal with the questions. We'll pop into the options real quick. So the first concern people had was the specs required for the game. Well, it wasn't actually required. They were recommended. And they said a 2080 graphics card. And lots of people panic because they're expensive. Not many people will have that. I'll tell you now, I do not have anything close to a 2080. The first thing we'll cover is the price because it wasn't listed until it went live. I was expecting £30 to £40. On the Oculus Store, it is £45, a little more than I thought. On Steam, it is £55. It's quite expensive. Half-Life Alyx, I think, is the most expensive VR game I bought, and that was £45. So yeah, it's quite expensive on Steam. So I have a Rift S headset, and you will expect that I have bought it from the Oculus Store because it was cheaper. No, I didn't. I bought the Steam version. I wanted to see what the performance was like, whether it had the Oculus SDK to help it run better. I saw no option for that when I loaded up the game in Steam, so it might well play better on the Oculus Store. So I could have bought it on the Oculus Store, but there's a couple of issues. The size of the game. So it's 168 gig odd to download. We'll call it 170. Some people are saying, oh, you've got to download 300 gig, but then it halves and it's only 150 or something. That's bullshit. That's not how it works. If anything, it would be the reverse. I would download, say, 150 gig and it unpacks to 200. None of that nonsense. I just downloaded 170 gig and it installed. It took quite a long time for me to do that. Now, had I done it on the Oculus Store, my issue is the way they do updates. The last game that was anything close to this size that I bought was Asgard's Wrath. Now, that had a number of patches. And what Oculus Store does is it asks that you have to download it all over again. So I needed 130 gig to install the game. I've got the game installed, and now it wants me to have another 130 gig spare to do that download. It's ridiculous. You basically uninstall the game and reinstall it whenever there's an update. Not really an issue if it's only a 30 gig game, but when they're getting this big, it takes many, many hours to download. So there's reasons why I didn't get it on the Oculus Store. In the future, I might not buy a headset from Oculus and Facebook. I love the Rift S, but my next headset could be completely different. So when I get games on Steam, it's agnostic. It doesn't really care what headset I have. On Steam, on Oculus, I tend to just buy the Oculus exclusive games. Hopefully that makes sense. So we'll go over the specs of my machine to help people out. The reason I keep this machine as it is, and I'll keep it in service for a while longer, is it's pretty average. It was top of the range stuff, but that was a very, very long time ago. So I've got an i7 2600K. It's 4 cores, 8 threads. It's overclocked, 4.5 gigahertz on all the cores. It is 10 years old, if you can believe that, and it's still playing games today. So some of you might still have that. Most of you will have a more modern machine. You might have an i7 7700K. You might have a Ryzen 2600, a Ryzen 3600. You're all better than me, but the game is still playing okay for me. Okay, I've got 16 gig of RAM. That's DDR3. Pretty old stuff, but it's still doing the job. My graphics card is a 980 Ti, so that was top of the range, I don't know, 5 years ago or more. Today's standards, it's pretty average. So modern equivalents, if you've got a 980 Ti, that's fine, but you might not know how it compares to other stuff. If you've got a 1070, if you've got a 1070 Ti, maybe you've got a 1660 Ti or a 1660 Super, we are all in the same ballpark of performance, pretty similar. Okay, a 1080, a little bit better than what I have. Many of you might have a 1060, the 6 gigabyte version. That was a very popular card. That is not as powerful as what I have, but I'm sure you'll still be able to play the game. It has dynamic settings to adjust the quality levels. I can't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure you'll get away with the 1060. If you've got a 2060, 2060 Super, 2070, you've got a 2070 Super, that's near as damn it the 2080. We've got the 3000 series cards. I will upgrade and do a new machine next year. Minimum will be a 3060 Ti, and the 3060 Ti is near as damn it a 2080 Super. So now you know the specs. I am running it off a solid state drive as well. So what did we say? It was 170 gig for the game. So let's go through the options real quick. I do have a button on the pad for that. So we'll do options because I do have a couple of grievances. We'll go into VR Comfort. There is no smooth turn. That really annoys me. That's what we're traditionally used to when we do like first-person shooter games on a gamepad. You just move the thumbstick to turn. It's not rocket science, but we don't have that option. We've got snap turn. They call it flick turn, but it's the same difference. I've got two options: instant or transitional. Just how quickly it does it, and how many degrees it moves every time I flick the thumbstick. I don't like it. They need to patch it and change it. Under accessibility, we do have a seated mode. I do like to play games seated for the most part. I'm lazy. So that's good. It's good that that's there. The bad news, there is no crouch button, which makes combat very, very difficult when I'm seated. And so some of you will say, right, well, you can stand up, and of course I can look left and right and move and not have to use snap turn. Yes, I could crouch, stand and crouch. But if someone's disabled and they're in a wheelchair, they don't have that luxury, and they shouldn't be punished with the omission of the crouch button. That all this stuff needs to be patched in. They might do that, but from day one, this stuff doesn't exist. We do have, a fair lot of settings to tinker around with. Under audio and video, you see that screen resolution goes dynamic. We've got under extras, don't need any of that. So gameplay, like the grab guide, all the the UI hints, damage overlay, haptics. Got the multiplayer options. So we've got cross-play. So I've got it on Steam, and I can still play against people on Oculus. Although to my understanding, if I wanted to do a private party with my friends, we all have to have the same version to start a party, which, okay, is a bit of an annoyance, but I kind of understand it. So campaign, I could change my body type and skin tone. Fair enough. Enemy rank. So when I look at the bad guys, they'll have stars above their head. The more stars, the more difficult they're supposed to be to kill. So, yeah, we can come out the options. We just want to have a quick look. We'll head over. I'll point out I can go down the stairs. That's the archives. I can load up the missions I've already done, or we can do it through the telephone. So you see I've done a little bit of the game to get an idea. We'll load up the firing range. So first thing you notice, this big 2D image that pops up. Okay, fair enough. But when we complete the missions, well, I can't really call it a mission. The mission's broken down into like set pieces, and these might get longer and longer as the game goes along. But as you start off, they're not particularly long, and then it goes.
Thought we should give you a quick combat refresher. Your current objective is always shown on your sleeve. Take a look.
Right, before I do that, so yeah, we have these little set pieces, and it goes victory, pops up, and then we do continue, and it loads like the next set piece. It is a little bit jarring. If I look back at the last game, I really enjoyed Saints and Sinners. So we would start at the bus, we'd do our thing, we'd go to the raft to go to a location, load screen. We'd do our thing at the location, we'd come back to the raft to go back to the bus, load screen. So I'm okay with that, but I just don't need this game to make it more jarring than it needs to be. Like if I finish a section, just load into the next one. You don't need to keep forcing me to continue. Well, let's go through this quick tutorial. It wants me to look at my sleeve.
Press the grip button to grab them.
So it wants me to grab stuff. We've got a frying pan there. Yes, we can use it as a weapon.
You can use either hand. Give your other hand a try. Now it's time to move, Lieutenant. I see you're right-handed, just like me. Good. Makes this training easy. Look at your sleeve again. The arrow always points in the direction you need to go. Use the left stick to move, the right stick to turn.
I'm actually ambidextrous, equally useless with both hands. So yeah, we can do melee combat. I know lots of people in Saints and Sinners like running around hitting zombies with a frying pan over the head. So we'll go through the movement tutorial. It's going to tell me to push it in to run.
Press in the left stick. Let's move on to live fire training. Remember, you can always always adjust your comfort and controller settings by pressing the pause button and accessing the options menu.
So as I did this, I was waiting for the barbed wire, you know, where you go under the barbed wire, crouch. It just doesn't exist because there is no crouch button, which is really, really surprising. And I can't tell you, I just can't stress it enough how awkward it makes the combat.
Time to shoot stuff. Specialist McKinney is here to help you learn the basics. Grab the pistol from its holster on your hip.
Right, so it's on my hip. If I grab it, if I let go, it will return. And I'm fine with that. In my head, I can think, oh, it's on the lanyard. It's on the bit of rope.
Holding the pistol with both hands will give you more stability and accuracy.
So just like Saints and Sinners, we can grab it with both hands. In the options, I saw no setting for the offset, you know, to adjust the tilt.
Press this button to eject the magazine.
So it's telling me to hit the A button, grab another magazine from my hip.
Now let go of the pistol. A weapon will automatically return to its holster after you release it. Larger weapons will holster on your back. Reach over your shoulder and grab your M1A1 submachine gun.
So that's over my right shoulder.
Look at that. The arsenal of democracy in action. Remember, you can always press this button to eject the magazine. If it now, grab and insert the new magazine. Bingo! Pull the bolt back. Letting go of the weapon will automatically holster it over your shoulder. Now, reach over your other shoulder and grab the M1 Garand rifle.
I wish I could turn off the blue. I can't find anything in the options to do that. It kind of breaks the immersion. We'll reach over my left shoulder.
Remember, hold it with both hands for more stability and accuracy.
Now I'm going to do that with my right hand, so I'm instantly grabbing the rifle, using my left hand to get
This is why
a grip at the front.
M1 Garand, Lieutenant. Its ammunition clip ejects automatically after the last bullet.
Might not show up in the recording, but I am using the sights. Got the ghost ring at the back
Listen to that ping.
and line up the front sights.
The smarter Germans will listen for it too. Now grab it, drop it in.
Just put the clip in.
No need to charge the Garand.
Charges itself.
Ready to go. Beautiful weapon. Let go of the Garand and it will automatically return to its slot. You're doing great, Lieutenant. Let's move down to the next station. Here's Specialist Lamouche to help demonstrate some advanced weapon handling. You carry your pistol on your hip and a larger weapon on each shoulder. When you pick up a new weapon, it will replace the one you currently have in that slot. Grab this Carabiner 98K rifle with your left or right hand, and you'll see it swaps with the weapon currently in that slot.
So I actually quite like how this works. Like the weapons are on my body. It's like Walking Dead Onslaught, it was ridiculous having that weapon wheel, which they have in Half-Life Alyx as well. I like stuff being on my body, so it's telling me whatever I pick up in my left hand will be for my left shoulder, whatever I pick up the right hand will be for my right shoulder. So left is my rifle.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
This is a bolt action.
Fire away, Lieutenant. The K98 is a bolt action rifle, so you reload by pulling and pushing the bolt after each shot.
Anyone that shoots knows that the K98 has terrible sights.
Look at Specialist great work. Let's
I
go
wouldn't
to the next
recommend
station.
using that rifle. So I'll have my Garand back.
I know you just got out of the infirmary, Lieutenant, but we need to give you a quick refresher on battlefield medicine. You will automatically heal from minor wounds, but if you really get hurt, you'll need to use some first aid. Pretend to hurt yourself by smashing your hand on these rusty nails. Ouch! Ouch! Grab a first aid. Now comes the fun part. Stab yourself in the chest. The syringe will auto-inject the medicine. Voila! Good as new. You can store up to 3 first aid syringes on your cuff. They're a soldier's best friend.
It's much like Half-Life Alyx that lets us keep stuff on our wrists.
Grenades. Head
We
up
can
the
keep
stairs.
syringes. So we'll deal with explosives now.
Pick up an American grenade, which looks like a small pineapple. It's a Mark II fragmentation grenade. To pull the pin, you can use your hand or your teeth. Once you pull the grenade's pin, a fuse inside starts burning. You'll only have a few seconds before the grenade explodes. Go ahead and pull it now.
Right, so I can use my hand or put it to my mouth.
Throw the grenade, Lieutenant. Now this is a German hand grenade. It's called a Stielhandgranate, though folks often just call it a potato masher. The German grenade also has a fuse inside. You activate it by pulling the cap at the bottom.
So it's stick hand grenade.
Grenade and throw it. You can use your
Looks like a
hand
potato masher, that's why I got the nickname.
on your chest. Pick a grenade up and let it go. See how it automatically moves into place?
I can store them on my chest.
Excellent. You're ready to take on the Third Reich. When you're done with grenades, head on down the stairs to the firing range.
So again, having to use that snap turn, I find it really jarring.
Spend as much time at the firing range as you want. When you're done, just go through the door to return to headquarters.
Some people that will be new to VR, they won't like smooth turn, it'll make them feel dizzy, but I'm not new to VR. Something I do like, the animations, very good. Let's get the sniper rifle. Oh, pulled that shot.
Bingo! Eaten by bears.
Let's take the Garand. I heard the ping. What else have we got? The Luger. So that's a toggle lock. You can see that's locked back. Pull it to charge it. Unlike the Colt, which was sliding. So it goes back on my hip. I can grab some syringes. So yeah, I'm not sure how this is coming over in the video, the performance. If there's like any stuttering, just remember me recording does have an effect on the machine. When I play it without recording, it's pretty happy with the performance. Even on the 980 Ti. See if I had a better machine, it'd be even better. Not even having to aim down the sights, I can use the tracers. Yeah, so there's potential for me to blind fire around corners. Quite like it. It's fun to reload. That's something they got wrong in The Walking Dead Onslaught. They made it too simple. I think Respawn's just got the right level of fun of reloading, and yeah, the balance between fun and realism. Right, so we've got the exit. So on exit, it'll go on to the prologue, which is quite boring. So I think we'll leave the video there, guys. We'll come back, we'll do some more content. We'll definitely cover the multiplayer, but we'll leave it there. So have a great day, have a great evening, whatever you choose to do after watching this. And as always, I'll see you when I see you next. Ciao for now.